And welcome back everybody to Let's Play Sonic Origins Plus. In the last episode, we went through the entirety of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on the Sega GameGear. And oh boy, that was a grueling task. In today's episode, we are going to be tackling the next game on our list here of 12 games. We're going to be tackling Sonic Chaos for the Nintendo GameGear, the Sega GameGear. Sorry. But this one is a Sonic and Tails team up for a wild whirling thrills in this Game Gear title from 1993. This is the first time Tails is playable on a handheld system. Yeah, you can play as Tails in this one, unlike Sonic 2. But this is also an original title for the Game Gear. It doesn't have, it's not a version of a pre-existing game. It's an actual, original game. So, without further ado, let's jump on into Sonic Chaos. Alright, so now we're going on to the third of our Game Gear list here, and that is Sonic Chaos for the Sega Game Gear. This game is an original title for the Sega Game Gear, and as you can see, Sonic is chasing Eggman, who's carrying a Chaos Emerald, and Tails is following suit. Yeah, Sonic Chaos is an original title for the Sega Game Gear, and honestly, it's a lot better than the other ones. Honestly, I think that this is probably, at this point in time, when it comes to the games on Game Gear off this list, at this point, this is the best one, in my opinion. So, we're going to be starting off here, running a Sonic. I just wanted to let you know, you cannot get any Chaos Emeralds in this game if you play anybody but Sonic. So, Tails can't get any of the Chaos Emeralds. But in order to get the Chaos Emeralds in Sonic Chaos, what you have to do is you have to collect 100 rings in a stage. So, once you have 100 rings, you go to the special stage automatically. Sonic does have cool little abilities in this game. If you break these monitors right here, Sonic will glide on these rocket boots across the screen, and you can kind of get through the stage really quickly. I like this power-up. I think this power-up is kind of actually cool. It's a recurring power-up that shows up in every stage, and other than that, I really like this. One thing I will compliment this game, because this is an original title for the Game Gear. They built this game with the Game Gear in mind. It's not a port of the Master System version of a game. So look at Sonic's sprite. It's not taking a majority of the screen. So we don't have screen crunch as a big problem anymore. I mean, granted, it's still a little bit more, it's still zoomed in a little bit, but granted, this is a lot better than the Sonic 2 or Sonic 1 for that matter. Anyways, once you collect 100 rings in a stage, you get put into a special stage. Now, each special stage is different. It's not like a mini game you have to play through. It's more of, get to the end of this course here, and get to the Chaos Emerald before time runs out. As you can see, the timer is at the top of the screen counting down. And right here, we have to ride these rocket boots as fast as we can, collecting rings and racking up our lives along the way. And eventually, we're going to be running into the Chaos Emerald, and we have to grab it before, time runs out. You can get a lot of lives in this special stage. I'm missing every ring. I don't know why I just missed everything. But those big rings there that you saw in the special stage, they're worth 10 rings. So if you go through that whole bunch of rings right there, you're going to rack up a lot of lives. And as you can see, I already have a continue. We just started the game. But we did get our first Chaos Emerald. Like the other ones, there are 6 Chaos Emeralds in this game. And we're going to go back to Turquoise Hill Zone. But we're not going back to Act 1. No. Once you collect the Chaos Emerald in a stage, you collect 100 rings and you get the Chaos Emerald, or just finish the special stage in general, doesn't matter if you got it or not, you automatically go to the next stage. You don't have to finish Act 1 or nothing. So we're in Act 2 already. Yeah, so if you want to know what the ending of the stage looks like, well, just keep watching this video. That's all I'm just going to tell you. Yeah, so right now, the main goal for this game is we're going to try to get these Chaos Emeralds as fast as we possibly can. So the first 5 acts, we're going to be getting these Chaos Emeralds. The 6th Chaos Emerald we will get at the very end of the game, so don't you worry about that. I really like these rocket boots. It's a temporary boost in your like movement, but it is such a cool little addition. I wish that they put these rocket boots in other Sonic games. I know Shadow has those air sneakers, but they're not the same, man. You can't fly across the screen with those. But yeah, Sonic is a lot better in this game. He has the super peel out move that Sonic CD had. So if you push up and then you tap A, you can do a super peel out move. You can also spin dash in this game. Thank goodness they implemented spin dash in this game. So it makes traversing a lot easier in this game. Sonic Chaos is just a overall better game in my opinion than the other two. Not to say that Sonic 1 was a bad game on Game Gear. It really wasn't. It's just Sonic 2, like I mentioned last episode, Sonic 2 really kind of made it more difficult than it needed to be because of all the limitations of the Game Gear and everything else. But this being an original title really does help it a lot because the developers actually made it with the sole intention of putting this on the Game Gear screen. So, yeah, this is kind of a one thing with this stage. If you're trying to get 100% on the Chaos Emeralds and get the good ending, you kind of just are going to be in these stages a little bit longer than you want to because you're trying to collect rings. There's going to be some stages later in the game that it's going to be really stingy on rings, so you have to be very careful and make sure you pick up everything. Guys, I just need 5 more rings, and we got the loop-de-loop from Emerald Hill Zone right here. And there we go, we're going to the second special stage. The second special stage, you come up here and you jump on these little trampolines here. This causes a spring to jump up. This is an item that we'll be seeing later. It causes a giant leap for Sonic to jump higher in the air, and you can jump off of them to get more airtime. But the main goal of this stage is we have to just jump as high as we can to get to the next platform and make sure that we get to the very top before time runs out. Just like every other special stage, you gotta make sure you beat it before the time runs out. But yeah, we're gonna jump up here and get knocked off by accident. Yeah, if you hit a platform by accident, unfortunately you get knocked off, which isn't a big deal, but there we go. We got our second Chaos Emeralds. I really like the way that the Chaos Emeralds look in this game. You can kind of see the sheen effect on them and everything else. The Chaos Emeralds just look really neat in this game. So I already got a second continue. I will tell you, this game is a lot easier. A whole lot easier than the other games. And honestly, I'm thankful for that, because after playing 2 games of questionable boss designs, it's nice to play a game that's not as hard. So, we're in Act 3 of Turquoise Hill Zone. I really like the name of that zone, by the way. Turquoise Hill Zone. Unlike Sonic 1 and Sonic 2, you can get rings before you fight the boss. And the bosses aren't that hard. This is literally just a giant Motobug with a spring on his back. The main goal is to just spin dash into his head and keep doing that until he is destroyed. There you go. He's a super easy boss. I don't see anybody having trouble with him. And at the end, you see Sonic run with a little sparkle effect on his back there. Sonic has passed 3. So we have completed Act 3 of Turquoise Hill Zone. And now we're going into Gigapolis Zone. I think that's how you say it, Gigapolis Zone. The giant metro city zone. It's nice to see another city zone. I don't think we've seen any other city zones on these handheld games yet. Gigapolis Zone is kind of a cool zone. I like this one. I like the night sky effect there. They give you a crap ton of rings right there for obvious reasons. Yeah, this is kind of one of those zones. It's like, we don't have many rings just lying around right here, so we're going to conveniently put them in monitors. So, yeah, just keep following the path that I follow here. There's a bed of spikes there. Just kind of use our invincibility to get through here. and try to get through all this before our invincibility runs out. Invincibility doesn't last very long, but yeah, we're gonna jump up here, avoid the enemy there, and we got 59 rings right here, and from this point we want to jump up here, kind of backtrack. This right here is a bridge. Thing about bridges, it's always on an angle. It's kind of a weird effect. You want to keep being in a running animation when you're on the bridge. If you stop for whatever reason, you will fall underneath the bridge. So just keep that in mind when you encounter these things, because we're going to be seeing them quite a lot. But we got 100 rings, and now we're on the third Chaos Emerald. The third Chaos Emerald isn't hard. You're literally just enjoying this pipe ride a la Scrambled Egg Zone. Yeah, this is a pretty much a linear one. You have to go through these series of pipes. I don't even know why they give you invincibility here, to be perfectly honest. There's no enemies in here, or traps. So, yeah, you're just gonna keep on flying around here and immediately go up. That's the only thing you have to do here, is go up at this last section, and then you can get this to get the third Chaos Emerald. It's a pretty straightforward linear path. You should be able to get this one. It's not that hard. Just remember at the very last batch to hold the up button so you don't loop around. Oh my gosh, we already got 4 continues, guys. When am I ever going to use these now? You will die a couple times. There are some questionable places that I usually die in this game, but like I said before, this game is not as hard as Sonic 1 or Sonic 2 for that matter. Sonic 1 really wasn't that hard either. There was just a lot of labyrinthian design in certain things. Sonic 2 was just... yeah. But here, in Gigapolis Owned Act 2, you ride this elevator here. You grab these rings here. And there's some more rings up there, and there's a bunch of rings on top of that pipe there. We keep on coming down here. There's a bunch of rings right there, but I kind of missed I kind of fell off the thing there, so I'm going to have to ride it again if I wanted to. But if you want to, you don't even have to do that if you don't want to. You can jump over those bed of spikes there, and those bed of spikes lead to a new area. We're going to be getting to it here in a second. Like I said, I missed a bunch of rings when I was coming down here. Trying not to go as fast as I want to. There's a spring right there to jump you up there, so you don't have to do any weird platforming nonsense. I want these rings, man. I gotta get the special stage. It's like the only thing. I don't even care about my lives at this point. I got 9 lives. I'm all good. There we go. All right, got the ring here. Now we're gonna backtrack and fall all the way down to this bed of spikes here. We want to spin dash jump over them like that. And if we keep going this way, eventually we come into this room that has a bunch of rings in this. Yeah, this room has a whole crap ton of rings. And if you're missing a bunch of rings right there, there's your 100 right there, feels like. But without further ado, we're going into Special Stage 4. This one's probably the hardest one. You have to use these rocket boots to get over as fast as we can because the timer is really strict on this one. You want to kind of hold the up button, and right here we want to spin dash as far as we can go, jump, spin dash again to keep going forward. There is a monitor with a timer clock that pauses the timer for just a minute. We're going to keep on going. Grab this rocket boots. I think these are rocket boots. They look like they are. You keep flying upwards. Now immediately, right here, you're going to encounter a hill with a bunch of springs on it. Be very careful. This is this is very annoying. So you jump over that, and you just keep going this way. And you should backtrack just a little bit to get another set of rocket boots. You keep flying as far as you can. Upwards, and eventually we're getting close to the end. Right here, the Chaos Emerald's right above here. So we got to find a way how to do that. We only got 10 seconds left. We want to backtrack. Grab these rocket boots and keep flying. Like I said, I had 2 seconds left on that clock. This special stage is very tight on time. So, just be mindful of that if you ever play this. Anyways, we're going into Gigopolis Zone, Act 3. This is the boss stage. It's so weird not going, after finishing a special stage, not actually going back to the stage and just going on to the next one in particular. But we keep coming down this way, and we just got a bunch of just giant wiggly worm. You just have to attack him on the head. Just hit him on the head a couple times, and then he will die. This boss isn't hard. I did die to him one time earlier, but that's just because I was just, I don't know. I think I was sleepy at the time when I recorded this. This boss isn't hard, and it's just nice. As you can see, I'm getting hit multiple times and recollecting my rings. Isn't that a nice feeling to actually fight a boss without the fear of just one-hit KO? Yeah, must be nice. Sorry, I've been going on that a long time with the past couple games we played, and the boss fights is just, oh, well, you're not having any rings to fight these guys. I just don't like that mechanic whatsoever. Sleeping Egg Zone. Okay, this zone, Act 1, is probably the hardest zone to get the Chaos Emerald in. Namely because there's not a lot of rings in this zone. So we want to jump on this trampoline here, and jump up, and try to grab these guys. There's an extra one up on the top portion here. You just jump up here, grab these rings, and we just keep on moseying up this way. Like I said, this zone is really, really stagnant with rings. There's not many chances to get enough. Grab these, and there's like 40 right here. Yeah, like I said, there's not... I say that there's not, and it doesn't look like I'm lying, but trust me, when we get to the end of the stage, you'll understand why. We want to jump on this platform here and try to keep on the platform as best we can. Jump down here, run, get over those spikes, and then keep going forward, avoiding the enemies. Once we come here, we want to jump on this platform, jump on that platform, jump on this platform, and just keep going this way, because we're going to break some rocks, get this monitor right here, and you just, underneath the monitor, you want to keep going down, and then there's your last monitor with rings. This is probably the only set amount of rings that you can get. Alright, so the 5th special stage, this is a Scrambled Egg Zone favorite of ours. We're going to be going through a set of pipes again, just like the 3rd one. But this one's a little bit more, you have to pay attention where we're going this time. I did grab some timer portions right here, but basically if you go down and you go around and then you keep going into the snake pattern right here, once you get to the end of the snake pattern section, we want to hold the down button and then keep going left, and immediately you're going to be greeted with a spring, so be ready to jump when you exit the pipe. There's the Chaos Emerald. We have 5 of them. We have every Chaos Emerald we need for this game. So we've pretty much 100%ed this game at this point. We can get the last Chaos Emerald after we beat the final boss. The final boss will drop the last Chaos Emerald. So, yeah, we don't have to do any more special stages anymore, luckily. Man, I got my score up really high, dude. Just like the other games, I've been save stating in between each stage just in case something horribly goes wrong. And I've had to record this game in like 2 separate sections, and you'll understand. 2 separate sessions, you'll understand why when we get to it. Alright, Sleeping Egg Zone Act 2. We're going to jump on this trampoline, and I don't know why I'm obsessed with getting rings. I don't need to worry about rings anymore. This zone is a lot easier to get the 5th special stage than Act 1 was. I just usually try to get it as soon as possible so I don't have to worry about it for the rest of the game. That's just how I play Sonic games. You can kind of grab these rings up here if you want to. We already got 46 rings, 48 rings. We grab those 2 there. And use these trampoline here trying to get these guys. There we go. Yeah, this zone is a lot easier to get rings than the first zone. I made it look like the last zone was easy to get rings. Trust me when I say that last monitor that we broke in order to get to the special stage, it was not... That was literally it. That was like at the end of the stage. There was like nothing left in that stage, really. There might have been a couple more patches of rings, but they were like farther beyond than that I can reach at the moment. Right here, I think, yeah, we just gotta be careful with this, because Sleeping Egg Zone, I like the aesthetic of Sleeping Egg Zone, but my biggest complaint with it is, what's background, what's foreground? I don't know. I don't think anybody knows, because there's a bunch of, look like places that you can jump in, and then you jump into it, and you come to find out, oh, that was in the foreground, not the background. But here we go. Now we actually get to see what ending of the stage looks like. If you cross this goalpost, they'll give you a kilometers per mile, or kilometer per hour speed that you did for crossing the goalpost, which is, I don't believe it whatsoever, because I wasn't going that fast. But it gives you a score multiplier at the end of the stage for how fast you crossed the goalpost. Alright, Sleeping Egg Zone Act 3 is the boss stage. Be sure to grab that ring box there. And just I'm gonna keep riding this trampoline all the way over to the boss stage. Sonic will automatically get off when we get to the boss. This boss is just a giant Eggman robot that shoots Gatling gun on a spring. He's really not that hard. You just gotta avoid his shots. It's just so nice to actually play these boss fights with rings. Have I mentioned that I like that mechanic? Anyways, we completed Act 3 of Sleeping Egg Zone. We have like 3 more zones left in the game, so I think there's a grand total of 6 zones in this game. The next one is Mecha Green Hill Zone. Forget Sandy Hill Zone. This is Mecha Green Zone. Green Hill Zone. This is just Green Hill Zone. That's looked like it was in the Industrial Revolution. Again with a bridge. Just remember to keep running across the bridge, because if you stop for whatever reason, yeah, Sonic will fall through like that. So make sure that you keep running across those bridges whenever you encounter them. You could do a spin dash too, and that works as well. But just you have to keep moving on the bridge, otherwise you're just gonna fall. Mecha Green Hill Zone, I really like this stage because it's just like, what if Green Hill Zone was mechanicalized? I don't know, man. I like this zone. This zone is kind of funny when you really think about it. I think at this point, Sonic Team was just like, okay, how do we make a zone, man? Let's just make Green Hill Zone mechanicalized. You want to talk about games nowadays, especially like recent Sonic games, just overusing Green Hill Zone. They had this problem since the start, man. They've used Green Hill as a base thing since the beginning. Alright, so we're now going into Mecha Green Hill Zone Act 2. I really like this area, so be careful in this segment. You might see it later, but yeah, those spring enemies there, they will if you jump on them by accident, you will get hit with the spikes. I'm just gonna keep on going down here. Cross this bridge, jump. Be careful, jump over here. There's a bunch of bottomless pits in this zone too, so just be mindful where you jump. And speaking of jumping, we're gonna continue our jumpage on the trampoline. We can go across this bridge here. I see that one up. I'm like, let me get that one up there. There we go. Now I've got 14 lives. Yeah, buddy. Cross this goalpost. How many kilometers per hour did I go? 821 kilometers an hour. I know kilometer. How big is kilometer in miles? I'm a dirty American that doesn't know how to convert things. Let me look and see. How long is a kilometer in miles? 1 kilometer is 1 kilometer is 0.62 miles. Okay, so it's like a little over a half mile. Okay. Act 3 of Mecha Green Hill Zone. you want to keep crossing this bridge, and then once you get to the second bridge, jump over here and get your rings. Make sure you grab it, because this boss he's not hard, but yeah, he's kind of, the only weakness he has is on his head, so we kind of want to jump onto his head whenever we get a chance to. But yeah, we just want to just jump up here and avoid his shots as best we can. Just jump on his head. He does do a spread shot, so be careful when you do that. Jump on here. And there we go. We destroyed the boss of Mecha Green Hill Zone. That was stage 4 of 6. So, we're getting good. We're getting close to finishing this game. Now we're into Aqua Planet Zone. I like the zone. Aqua Planet Zone is really cool. This is the water level of Sonic Chaos, and it's the only water level in the game. But I really like the zone. I like the music. The music really, I don't know. It's really neat. I like Aqua Planet Zone. I like the name of it too. Aqua Planet Zone. Sounds like we're in space. So we're gonna ride this rocket boots through these segments here. Like I said, we're speaking of water. Will we encounter water? Probably not. I don't know. I can't remember if I know in one of these segments I did encounter water, but there's water at the bottom of the stage. There it is. There's the water. But yeah, it's like Labyrinth Zone. It has a bunch of these spikes here, so just be careful. But if you push this door right here, it kind of, the current sweeps Sonic to go through these doors here. I really like this. I think this is kind of funny because it's like unique animation that only Sonic gets. Or not only Sonic, but like it's just a unique animation we don't get to see very often. But yeah, we're just gonna keep crossing these platforms here, and we get these rings. I actually went backwards by accident, so we're supposed to go forwards. You can bounce off the water like in Sonic 2 with this. If you go spin into a ball with momentum, Sonic will bounce across the water like a skipping stone. As you can see, like the flashing of the waves on the top there, kind of like, I think that's supposed to indicate that this is a current. If I may be bold, if that's how the developers were trying to envision. Yeah, as you can see, Sonic was kind of skipping across the water there with as a skipping stone, and I think that's kind of, I really do like that mechanic in these handheld Sonic games. I really wish that was a mechanic in the mainline games, is having Sonic turn into basically a skipping stone. So I do think that's kind of cool. Like I said, be careful of these spikes, and I just hate knockback sometimes. Knockback in these handheld games lately, especially in water, is really annoying because it makes Sonic go a little bit farther than I wanted him to go. But anyways, we got through Aqua Planet Zone Act 1, 590 kilometers an hour. That's pretty fast. I mean, Sonic is the fastest thing alive. If you guys seen the DC comic crossover with Sonic the Hedgehog, you know he's faster than Reverse Flash. I'm not going to open up that whole power debate. I'm not going to do that. I was talking to my friends at work about that because my friends are avid Sonic the Hedgehog fans, so it's kind of cool to talk about stuff like that. There's a bunch of rings right here in Aqua Zone Act 2, and these monitors right here. It's like, what? Like 50? There's like 50 rings right there. I guess if you hadn't gotten the Chaos Emeralds, this is an easy zone to get the Chaos Emerald in. There's rings all over the place, man. Trying to get it back up here so I can do a spin dash up this ramp. There we go. One thing I haven't commented on in this game is I really like, as strange as enough, I think Sonic's sprite is the best it's been at this point. Sonic's sprite in this game is really good. I like his sprite work a lot. Because it just, I don't know, it's something about it. I think this is like the only game that had that specific sprite work And it was really, I really like the design of his sprite. It's really neat. How fast did we go? 764 kilometers an hour. I don't know why they do this speed thing, because, yeah, as you can see, you get a point value of 764 for going as fast as you can. I guess it's to incentivize you to get through the goal as fast as you can. I don't know if it's like... I don't know if it's based off your timer, or how fast you were going when you hit the goal ring, or goal post. I don't know how it's measured. Anyways, this is Aqua Planet Zone Act 3. This is the boss stage. Instead of hitting the springs here, you want to kind of spin dash there where the invincibility monitor was. Otherwise, you won't get the ring box before you fight the boss. This boss is kind of a little weird. You got a bunch of these chickens. If you remember the bird enemies from the second boss of Sonic 2, they make their return right here. Gotta destroy all of them. And then we see the giant egg mobile that spawned the birds. What came first, the egg mobile or the chicken? But yeah, there's this giant egg robo that just keeps shooting up, you know, projectiles at you, and he keeps hopping around, so just be careful. He will kind of like trap you in a corner if you're not too careful. So once you do enough damage to him, you should be able to destroy him, but that's not it. We're not done yet. We still got one hit. He's gonna start shooting missiles at you. You just gotta be careful. And once he comes down with his other half of his body that's still around, come around, jump up, and then you can finally destroy it. It only takes one hit. That boss was kind of weird. Not gonna lie. But most bosses in Sonic games are kind of odd, so... Did I beat this zone in 690 kilometers an hour? Because I got 690 on speed. I think it's your time bonus. I think that's what that is. Anyways, we're going into the last zone of the game, Electric Egg Zone. This is the final zone of the game, and by far the hardest zone in the game. By proxy. This zone has a bunch of tubes and everything else. It has a bunch of lasers shooting at you. It has a bunch of bottomless pits, but right here, after this thing here, there's a bunch of rings in these boxes here. Sonic Chaos likes to give you a bunch of monitors with 10 rings each in them, so that way you can get to your 100 threshold to get the Chaos Emerald. So right there's 100 rings right there. That's easy to get. So if you're still missing Chaos Emeralds at this point, this is like the second to last zone you can get Chaos Emeralds in, I think. So just be careful. You want to come over here and jump on this platform, go up this tube here. And I don't want to go back. I guess I got running shoes, so got speed up shoes. I think that's the first time I got speed up shoes in one playthrough. So come up here. We just go through this pipe here. Get spit out right here. More rings. Like I really need them at this point. I got 16 lives, man. I had to make sure the screen crunch was not... I haven't complained about screen crunch at all in this game. That one instance where I was like, is that solid ground beneath me? I had to look down to make sure. Anyways, we got past Act 1 of Electric Egg Zone, and now we're into Act 2 of Electric Egg Zone. This zone is not too hard. You start off, you know, in a pipe like this, but you can also like spin dash through here and go through this little like whatchamacallit, little like mountain car or something like that. It's kind of like an underground zone in Sonic 2. Go on these little mine carts. I think that's the word I was looking for. Mine cart. Go down these pipes here. Jump up. There's a bunch of rings right there if you're still missing rings. Crumbly ground underneath you. This zone is not hard at all, though. I say that, I took damage from that enemy, but it's really like kind of a straightforward zone. It's not like the first zone. The first zone had a bunch of bottomless pits. I don't think this one has as many. if I remember correctly. Yeah, you just ride this minecart down, and then jump up here. I think that's the only bottomless pit in this game, in this level here. But you want to jump down there, and you keep running. Jump on this platform. I think there might be a bottomless pit down there, too. So, I can't remember. But there we go. It only took me like a minute to get through here. So, 706 kilometers an hour. How fast is that? What is the speed of sound? How many kilometers an hour is speed of sound? Speed of sound. Sound and km out. H. There we go. That is 1,234.8 kilometers an hour. I'm just a little short of that. Anyways, this is Electric Egg Zone Act 3. This is the final zone of the game. This is where the final boss is. We just want to keep going through that pipe there, grab those rings and that monitor I picked up, and we want to keep on going through here. This is the final boss. We actually saw this boss in the intro movie. Eggman's in his little machinery. I don't know what it is. He keeps walking around. He has these projectile bullets here that bounce off the wall, or they ricochet off the wall there, and you just got to be careful where he goes and where he shoots. Just make sure that you know where you're supposed to do that. He will just walk around, and sometimes you get caught in between him and the wall sometimes. So just be very mindful of that. This boss isn't hard. It's just he's the hardest boss of the bosses we fought. I can't really say that there was a hard boss in this game. It really wasn't. But yeah, just make sure you grab your rings whenever you lose them. I think that's really the hardest part, is the ricocheting bullet. And once we destroy him, we're not done yet. You got a phase 2 fight. We keep coming down here, and Eggman's gonna turn into an egg jet here. Be careful. We want to jump over there and jump on him, and then try to get him on when he flies by, because he will instantly kill you. Doesn't matter if you have rings, he will instantly kill you if he hits you. So once you hit him, that's the end. We beat the final boss. Eggman's gonna jump up on his thing, escape like normal, but he's gonna drop the last Chaos Emerald. So we have all 6 Chaos Emeralds in this game. And once we beat the game with all the Chaos Emeralds, we get this special credits sequence with Sonic. He's running inside the Chaos Emerald. I think that's kind of cool. That's really the only difference between good and bad ending, is just the ending credits theme. Otherwise than that, I really like Sonic Chaos. I think this game is really fun. And I think if you're going to play any Game Gear, play this one first. This one is by far probably the best one that we played so far, and it's very newcomer friendly. I won't say it's the best one, because there's another platformer Sonic game that I think is still better than this one, but I think that Sonic Chaos is probably the best of what we played so far, by far. If I had to rank them as the games that we played so far, it's Sonic Chaos, Sonic 1, and definitely Sonic 2 at the moment. That ranking will go down, or that ranking will change a lot when we get through these games. But yeah, that's pretty much that we beat Sonic Chaos. It's really easy to get the Chaos Emeralds in this. You have to do something simple of getting 100 rings in the stage, and you don't even have to hold on to them until the end of the stage. Jump in a cold gold ring. You just have to get 100, and once you get 100, you're transported to the special stage automatically. I think that's really nice and very, very friendly to do that. But yeah, I mean, trying to complete. I like that the special stages are not mini games. They're just like, get to the end of this course here. That's it. You don't have to do running through half pipes, playing blue spheres, or, you know, going in a weird labyrinth that turns around the whole background and everything. It's just like, guide Sonic to the end of the course here in the time limit and get the Chaos Emerald. It is kind of a different than the other 2 games in the sense that, well, The other two games was like, you just have to know where the Chaos Emeralds are on the stage, and that's where they're at. And you just pick them up as you go. I do think that's probably the best way to handle special stages, is just having them hidden in zones, and you just have to pick them up. Because then you don't have to do anything weird and extra to do it. But this one's not hard. I just really like that they made the requirements to get to the special stages not trivial. Not to say that, you know, Sonic 2 or Sonic 1 had weird stipulations to do that, but I'm talking about the 16-bit game when I say that. Anyways, that's the end of Sonic Chaos. We beat it. Yay! We get the end. I like that ending. And that's it. So we're going to go back to the screen and get ready for the next game. Right? Save our game. And we're just going to go back to the title screen. Or back to the game catalog.
But wait!
But wait! There's more!
Hang on to your seats,
Hang on to your seats, baby! Cause this one's a screamer! Now, we're not done with the video yet. Look at the bottom of the screen. We're only halfway through the video. We're playing Tails. Remember how I told you about this is the first game we played with Tails? Yeah, we're actually going to play Tails. We're going to play through the game with Tails. Tails kind of acts a little different than Sonic. I mean, because he can fly. But his fly mechanic's really weird. You don't jump and then fly, hit the A button, hit the fly button. You have to hold up on the ground and then push A to make him fly up. And his flying doesn't have any momentum to it whatsoever. Like, it's really weird. Like, he can fly, but like he has no momentum whatsoever with his fly. So you could just go inch up, and go, yeah, like this. Like, I could just go where I want to with this. Now, granted, his fly still has stamina, like in the other games, but it's really easy to control his flying. It's not weirdly physical. It's not have weird momentum to it. But other than that, that's pretty much the difference. Tails can't do a super peel out move like Sonic because that's designated to his fly ability. He can spin dash like Sonic, so that's good. And I think I mentioned this before, but I'm going to be showing this just in case, because I made sure I wanted to show this off. Unfortunately, the monitors that Sonic had for, like, the rocket boots, they're not here. Tails can't use them. It's kind of a weird stipulation. You can't use rocket boots, but, I mean... But if you come over here and collect the 100 rings as Tails, you're not transported to a special stage. You're just given an extra life, like... That's it. Tails can't get the Chaos Emeralds in the playthrough. If you're trying to go for the good ending, you have to play as Sonic. You can't play as Tails. Which is kind of a bummer. I don't understand why they don't let Tails get the Chaos Emeralds. I mean, I know that Tails has never really had super form or whatever, but Sonic is not going to get a super form in this game. What difference does it make? Why can't Tails pick up the Chaos Emeralds? It doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, you can't get the Chaos Emeralds as Tails. So if you're trying to get for the good ending of the game, you have to play Sonic. Plain and simple. So we're just going to actually go through these stages. Because I mentioned earlier when we were playing as Sonic that these special stages, since they booted you out of the stage, like it went straight up to the next stage after you complete the special stage, we didn't really get to see the ending in a lot of these stages. Well, that's what the Tails playthrough is for. We get to actually see the ending of these stages now. That, and I wanted to just play as Tails, because I figured since, you know, a lot of these games, I'm doing a complete 100% playthrough of Sonic Chaos, I might as well show off all the characters you could play as. I'm going to be doing this for every game that's in the Game Gear section that has multiple characters. Granted, if it has any sort of like small differences, like Tails could obviously, he has a lot of differences than Sonic, and in this game. He can't collect Chaos Emeralds, he can fly, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. He does get a different ending screen whenever you beat him with Tails, so, I mean, that's another reason why I'm doing it. But when it comes to, like, playable characters in these Game Gear games, I'm not leaving any stone unturned. We're going to be playing as all the characters in this. Now, granted, am I going to regret this decision? Oh, yes, I'm going to regret this decision. Because I could have just stopped and played this just Sonic, and that was it. But no, I wanted to make sure that my playthrough had everything covered, so we're covering everything. Oh, man, I make too much work for myself sometimes. But, I mean, this game, like I said, I beat this game in like 30 minutes. It's really not hard to go through this again. Sure, the video will be like a little bit longer, but it has 2 playthroughs in it, so that makes sense. Anyways, we're in the boss zone of Turquoise Hill. It's the same. It's literally the Motobug. This boss isn't hard. Honestly, he's probably the most pathetic boss in this game. Literally, he doesn't do anything. I think if he can hit you, and I think you can take damage from him. But I think you can also get jumped up in the air with his spring. I think that's how it works. But I never really got hit from the Motobug, so I don't know. We're actually getting to see the ending of these stages. I think I mentioned that before, so it's nice to actually see the whole entirety of the stage instead of just like 2/3 of it and then having to go to the special stage and go into the next stage after that. Anyways, Gigalopolis Zone. I like the zone. I mentioned this before. It's nice to see like a Metropolis Zone in some sort of sense. I like the night sky in these Game Gear games. It's nice to see like this. The night sky reminded me of like so many Game Boy games I played growing up that had similar design for night sky and everything else. And that was one thing I really liked about the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance is like the way that the art looked with the limitation that they had to do. And that's just why I like handheld gaming in general, because they could do a lot of cool things with the limitation of the console itself. Some of my favorite games in all of gaming is just flat out handheld games. I think it's just because I grew up with them mostly, but I just like the artwork and everything else. I don't know why I'm even trying to go do this, because I guess it's just like, it was like, oh, I need lives. Even though I cut out every death that I do, I don't understand why my mentality is like, I need more lives, guys. I don't understand why these bumpers are like that. Why put 2 bumpers next to each other? I know, it's a trap. It's a trap. It's to deter you from going down there, but eh. It just reminds me of that old Miiverse post. I think I mentioned this before. I think I mentioned it when we were in Marble Zone of Sonic 1 back a long time ago. It's crazy to think this playthrough's been going on for half a year at this point. But, when we were in Marble Zone, there was that one Miiverse post of that one spring. It said, I don't know, whoever designed this is bad. And the guy's like, it's a trap. It's designed to trick you. And he says, well, me standing outside your door with the baseball bat is also a trap. It's like weirdly aggressive. It's like, because, you know, it's Miiverse. Miiverse had that weird, like, era where it's like, there was so much moderation, you had to be careful on how you type things, because Nintendo would, you know, would block your account if you did anything inappropriate at all on Miiverse. So, like, when people had to do something like that, they had to be, like, weirdly aggressive in, like, the weirdest way. Anyways, this is Gigalopolis Zone Act 2. I'm just kind of, like, speedrunning through this stage, because, well, I mean, I guess I could get more lives. That's all I can really do. I can't get any more Chaos Emeralds. I can't get any Chaos Emeralds in this playthrough, so, well, just grab rings, I guess. Rings are the best thing to get. I can't remember if my OCD actually makes me Am I actually going to go through every ring? Are you serious? Past Matthew, why? Why? Why are you worried about the... Oh, wait, I see why. I meant 90. I want an extra life. That's why it was. Okay, never mind. I was like, am I really going to go and get every single ring? What's wrong with me? And then I was like, oh, look at it. I'm like really close to an extra life, so that's why I'm doing it. And I'm going to be at 99. Are you kidding me? Wow. I think I even said that. I recorded this like a week ago, so I was like, I can't remember what I did. So, jump, get that ring. Come on, Tails, you can do it. Tails is like, oh, I'm gonna forget that one ring existed and grab these over here. Ah, I fell down the bridge. Well, there goes all the ring. I had one ring left, so it's fine. I did get the life. That's all that matters. 689 kilometers an hour. Tails past 2. Doesn't say Act 2, it just says 2. Alright, we're on to Gigapolis Zone Act 3. We've already seen this. Like we've seen everything else in this game. I'll go up this loop-de-loop. I like how, the one thing I will say is like, right here where I'm gaining momentum really fast, sometimes it just does that. I don't know why it does that. Like, when you go into whenever you go into spin dash form, like you go into curl into ball, sometimes the game just makes you go faster and gain momentum when you're not even on a hill. It's weird. I don't know why it does that. Anyways, we got past 3. The Gigapolis Zone. Again, boss isn't that hard. Now we're going into Sleeping Egg Zone. It's nice to not have to worry about Chaos Emeralds, because honestly, this is the stage I was worried about having to record doing Chaos Emeralds, because there's, like I said before, when we were playing as Sonic, this stage doesn't have many rings in it. It's surprisingly deceptive. Like, there's barely enough to do 100 in this one. I think I tried to go and get all of them here, but then I probably failed. I can't remember if I did it or not. That's another thing, is like, I'm getting older. My birthday was like earlier this week, and I turned 35 for people who don't know. And man, I'm starting to forget so many things that I've done like a week ago. And that's concerning to me. Like, I literally, like, I recorded this game like a week ago, and I can't remember what I did in certain aspects here. Oh yeah, by the way, this makes it a little bit easier to platform. Having tails to fly is easy to platform. But yeah, like, I'm having so much trouble trying to remember what I did recording-wise. And that's when I decided, like, I was deciding to do most of this post-commentary for my own sanity, to do most of these games post-commentary. I don't know how I fell down there. I think that's, yeah, I remember I fell down because I just, that weird collision with the platform there. But yeah, like, when I get older, it's like, I'm having a hard time remembering even what I did yesterday. And that's concerning, I guess. I mean, I guess it's not a bad thing. Oh, by the way, this is the first time, I think the only time it ever happens in this playthrough. Yeah, you cross a goalpost, and sometimes it'll show a ring. And the ring gives you 10 extra rings to your ring total. Just like in Sonic 2. Like, it's such a rare thing that happens, and I don't know what causes it to happen, but it does. So that's how you get 10 extra rings at the end of the stage, I guess. Alright, so we're on Sleeping Egg Zone Act 2. Those Tails. We're gonna jump up here and grab these rings. Tails is gonna be our buddy through the Game Gear section. I'm gonna tell you right now, Tails is gonna be your favorite character to play as in a lot of these Game Gear games. Not just because of you know, the fact that he can fly and he can make platforming trivial or what, but some of his games, like his solo games, because Tails has a couple of solo games on this collection, And my gosh, I love those games so much. They're really fun. The solo games of Tails was really good, and I really wish Sega would make Tails, like, have solo games again. Like, I get it, like, Sonic is the main character of the franchise, but as we've seen with, like, Year of Shadow with Shadow Generations, now granted, I know that that game was shared with Sonic Generations coming out, but I really do think Sega just needs to let the other characters have their own spin-off games or something like that. It'd be really interesting to see another Tails adventure where it's just Tails, or have Knuckles have one game by himself. He did have one game at one point. It was Knuckles Chaotix. Really wish that it was in this collection. I still stand by that. Yeah, I really wish that Knuckles had his own adventure again, because Knuckles Chaotix was... It wasn't available to anybody. You couldn't just go out and buy it. It was for a system that nobody bought. And for people who don't know, a Sega 32X, it was an add-on added to the Sega Genesis that made it so that the Sega Genesis could play 32-bit games. It was a weird experiment phase of Sega. Sega released two attachments to the thing. It started with the Sega CD. That was kind of neat. That was neat. You could play disc-based games, play CDs and whatnot. But then you got freaking 32X, which went on top of the top loader of the Genesis, and it was just like some deformed... I don't know how the best way to... deformed attachment on top of the Genesis. I'm talking about the Model 2, by the way. The Model 2, like, it looked horrible. But, yeah, like... And it had so many power cords to add to it. If you had the Sega 32X and the Sega CD on top of the Genesis, you had, like, 3 brick AC adapters, like to plug into the electrical outlet. There was no room on the power strip for all that. And this thing required all of those in order to even play. I thought about getting it back a long time ago. And now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, man, I'm so glad I never even bothered with it. Because it's just like... It was so stupid, and I'm like, I wouldn't have enough room to have that much power sucking through one console anyways. Maybe if I had an arcade cabinet that had the Sega built into it, and it's like its own designated thing, sure, yeah, I could do that, but, man. And plus, not only that, like, trying to get a legit copy of Knuckles Chaotix nowadays is borderline impossible. It's so expensive, and it's not worth it. The game is not worth it whatsoever. So I wouldn't even bother with it. I just wish that it was put on, like, these compilations here. Like, when Sega made Sonic Origins Plus, the DLC expansion to Origins, Origins was already kind of a cool concept. You have basically 4 games. I think 4 games. Sonic 1, Sonic CD, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, and Sonic Knuckles. Yeah, 5 games, I'm sorry. Had 5 games on this compilation, which I know the Sonic Mega Collection did it better. I know. I had the Sonic Mega Collection growing up, and I loved that game so much. But, you know, being able to play these games nowadays on an easier system is pretty cool and everything. And granted, when we got the Plus playthrough, or Plus expansion for Sonic Origins, I thought whenever they announced it, I was like, are they going to add, like, other Genesis games, like, I don't know, like Sonic 3D Blast? And then I was started to hope, I was like, maybe they'll put Knuckles Chaotix on there. You know, because that game never got off of anything but the 32X. It was never added in any compilations. It was never done anything like that. And I don't understand why. Sega has released almost all their old catalog in some way or form or fashion. But 32X games? No, we didn't. We're not going to release anything of those. I don't understand why. They should have put more Genesis games in this collection with the Plus DLC. I'm fine with Game Gear games. As you can see, I'm playing through it right now. I'm fine with Game Gear games, but my gosh, how many times have we gotten the Game Gear games? Namely, the titles we're playing right now. If you 100%ed Sonic Adventure on the remake, I think there's a remake on GameCube. If you Sonic Adventure DX, if you 100%ed that, got all the emblems, you unlocked 30 Game Gear games just to play. So they made it accessible to play these Game Gear games. These were on the 3DS eShop at one point. These games were on there. So I don't know. I'm fine with Game Gear games. I just really wish Sega would have made it a little bit more enticing to put games that they never released on the Origins. Or heck, I'll be greedy. Put everything on there. It's supposed to be a Sonic Origins. It's supposed to be an original, like showing Sonic's origins as a video game mascot. Why not put everything that classic Sonic had in this compilation? What's stopping you? I know I'm going on this giant tangent about this, but we've already seen all these bosses before, or seen all these stages and bosses before, so that I figured that it's justified. But yeah, like I really like Sonic Origins Plus a lot. I wouldn't be Let's Playing this if I hadn't. But that's my biggest complaint that I had, is it had a lot of wasted potential with the game library. Like, I get it, like Sonic CD, Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, and Knuckles were the original games that Sonic had. And granted, I wouldn't even question why Sonic CD's in this package when, I mean, it's a mainline game, don't get me wrong, but, like, not a lot of people had a Sega CD growing up. Why didn't you do this with Knuckles Chaotix? It was the first time we saw SBO and Vector and Charmy. That was also a mainline game. Why wasn't that put on there? I'd play games like Sonic 3D Blast because, weirdly enough, I think the game is fun. I like Sonic 3D Blast. Put Sonic Spinball. I like that game too. I don't know. I just felt like Sonic Origins should have just put more time and effort into it. Now, granted, I know that development takes a lot, but these are literally just putting emulators in the game. It shouldn't be that hard to figure it out. That's what this is. That's what the Game Gear section of this Origins thing is, just a straight up emulator. It has save states and everything. So, yeah. I'm sorry for going on such a tirade about it, but I never got a chance to talk about the one thing I really wish Origins did differently. Is I really wish that I'm fine. I was fine with the first game, for the base game just having the 5 games in it. But when they announced Plus, it kind of just, I had kind of high expectations. And I know I probably shouldn't have, knowing modern day Sega kind of likes to drip feed things just like Nintendo. But, yeah. I just felt like it was a good opportunity to, you know, expand the library for people who have never played these games before. Because I never played Knuckles Chaotix. Never had a chance to. I know I could emulate it. I know I could. But I just hadn't. I don't know. I don't like to dab on emulators that much. As I say, I'm playing on an emulator. To end the game, that is. But, yeah. I guess my expectations were way too high for Origins Plus. Anyways, I just talked over this whole segment. But yeah, like, playing as Tails in this game is kind of just like, the best way I could describe it is just like neutered Sonic in a way. Like, yeah, he's got the fly ability, and I think that's kind of cool. His flying is really busted in this game. But I can't beat the game with good ending because I can't collect Chaos Emeralds as Tails. Ow. These stupid birds. And now here comes the giant egg. Go ahead and defeat it. This boss has a lot of health. I don't know why this one in particular has a lot of health, and it does. You have to hit it like, I want to say like over 10 times. Tails is just, he's just, juggling him. The boss is just juggling Tails on top of his head. Alright, here comes phase 2 of the fight. Actually, would this be phase 3? Because the first phase would be the chickens. Yeah, I guess this would be phase 3. And it's just one hit. There we go. Defeated Aqua Planet Zone. And now we're going into the last zone of the game, Electric Egg Zone. Which, I gotta say, the naming convention in this game's kind of funny, because a lot of them have, like, in the GameGear games, they just put egg at the end of the zone. We got Electric Egg Zone. Earlier we had Sleeping Egg Zone. Sonic 2 we had, what was it? Scrambled Egg Zone. Though I thought that name was kind of funny, considering how much torture you had to go through for that stage. And this stage is kind of funny. I think the other Sonic games have egg-based zones. I mean, granted, it's Eggman. I get it. That was before, I know that in Japan, he was always called Eggman. But here in North America, I think over in Europe too, he was just called Robotnik. So that's probably why you wondered why I always alternated between Robotnik and Eggman. Is just because when I grew up, he was Dr. Robotnik, not Dr. Eggman. And it wasn't until Sonic Adventure that they changed his name to Eggman, which wasn't his actual name. He goes by it now, but Sonic gave him I like how they made it so, like, Sonic kind of gave it as an insult name, and Eggman just took it as his actual name, which I think that's kind of funny. But yeah, if you never noticed why I kind of like go off and on between Robotnik and Eggman, that's why. It's just because I've known him most of my life as Robotnik. It wasn't until like my teenage years that he changed over to Eggman, so I might still call him Robotnik every now and then. Anyways, Electric Egg Zone, the EEZ Zone. We're in Act 2. Tails can't go through that pipe for whatever reason. There we go. I guess I could just flown over there, but I don't know. I just like going through the pipes now. As long as it's not Scrambled Egg Zone from Sonic 2. Stupid bombs, get out of my way. Lasers shooting lasers at me and everything. To step on these things and go on laser field there. I took a different path than I did with Sonic's playthrough to kind of show that there's a different path there. Still beat it in 36 seconds though. Holy crap. What's my kilometers? 896? Getting close to that speed of sound record there. Tails passed 2. I hope he does. He has 2 tails. That's why he's named Tails. Actually, that's his nickname. His name is actually Miles. Miles per hour. It's funny. I always like that that's just a play on words for miles per hour. And jump up here, go through this egg here, this pipe, get my rings. We're gonna fight the final boss again as Tails. Just ride this platform up here. Get ready. We're gonna get ready to fight the final boss. Again, the final boss isn't that hard. The only thing you have to really kind of look out for is his ricocheting bullet. His ricocheting bullet is kind of like the only thing that's like a wild card in this whole fight. I mean, there's not enough room to fight him in. This room's kind of tiny, and he's kind of a big boss too, so it's like there's not a lot of room to maneuver around in. But yeah, you just keep on wailing on top of him. I think he takes like at least over 10 hits in order to destroy. And then he jumps every now and then. I do like that the final boss is literally just the boss that we saw at the beginning, I think. I think that's what it was. Pretty sure. There we go. Destroyed Eggman. Well, that's not all, guys. We got one more phase to fight. We gotta fight his jet form. Try to avoid it because, like I said before, Mr. Robotnik will insta-kill you, even if you have rings, if he hits you in this phase. I don't know why it's an insta-kill, but yeah, it is an insta-kill, so you don't want to get hit. And unlike Sonic, we don't have Chaos Emerald drop from there, so... But yeah, that's the end of Sonic Chaos. We played as Tails now, and as you can see, he's not running in a Chaos Emerald because he didn't get any! Yeah, I decided to do the Tails playthrough too in this video because then I can say, hey, I did cover basically everything in this game, 100%. We even saw the bad ending with Tails because I mean, really not much difference. When I hear people it's like, oh, get the good ending and bad ending in these handheld games, it's just like it's literally not that big of a difference. I mean, I know that's what most games that have good and bad endings, if you don't 100% it, really boil down to. But yeah, it's such a minute thing to not worry about, so that's why I don't even bother showing the bad ending in these handhelds that much, because it's just a nothing burger. And if you really want to see it, you could just go type it on YouTube and go see it. But I did want to play as the characters because I want to show the characters all. I think, don't question me on this, I think there's like 2 other games that we'll play with both characters in our playthrough of the handheld games here. So, they'll be a little bit longer than the other ones because we're going to be doing 2 of these things. Unlike the next episode has multiple characters you can play as, but I'm only doing 1 because literally all the other characters do the same thing. So there's no difference. So I'm only going to be doing playthrough with 1 character in that. You'll understand why when I get to the end there. Thanks to what's that? Hitnin? The Haze? Kinsan? Gadai? Mekarine? LLG? JS? I'm just reading credits now. But yeah, I think Sonic Chaos is a really good game. It's a lot easier than the other ones and a lot more forgiving. And honestly, if you want to try a Sega GameGear first, I really suggest either this one or the next one we'll play. And I'll get into more of that when we get to there. But Sonic Chaos is a really good game, and I think you should play it. But yeah, that's the end of Sonic Chaos. We cleared it with Sonic and Tails. Tails jumps off, flies off, and he brings down the end screen, and it's so cute. But yeah, that was Sonic Chaos. And now we're going to be going back to live commentary, Matthew. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. Oh boy. Well, at least we got through Sonic Chaos in its entirety. So, with that done, in the next episode of Let's Play Sonic Origins Plus, we're going to be taking a break from our platforming adventures here in the Game Gear and taking a racing sim adventure in the Game Gear. We're going to be taking a look at Sonic Drift, a racing game for the Sega Game Gear. So with that, I will see you guys in the next episode.